Alrighty, this is the Travis Neville Podcast. My name is Travis Neville. I wrote this book called Ideal Man, Reviving Masculinity. You can get it anywhere fine books are sold, and even some places where real bad ones are sold, including Walmart, Amazon. It's on Audible. You can get it at my publisher, which is Palmetto Publishing out of Charleston, South Carolina. I owe them a visit this time of year because I live in northern Michigan, and man, there's a lot of snow right now in February. But you get what you pay for, right? I decided to live here. I enjoy Michigan. I like it a lot. And just snow's something you deal with. It makes summer a lot more fun, let me tell you. Okay, so I did a live with Brian Morgan and Ray Gardner last week, and it was really good. And we went 2.5 hours and covered all kinds of topics. It's so cool to get a chance to talk to other guys who are putting the time in like I do. They are researching and learning, and both of them also talking to other professionals and putting together a body of work and a body of they're accumulating knowledge a lot like I am. I talked to my dad the other day, and he was saying that it's like, man, it's like you have a self-directed PhD at this point. 3 years I've been researching this stuff. I've written 2 books. Obviously, I've read a ton of books. I've talked to a lot of other experts, like I said, listen to podcasts, do all those things, and yeah, I'm really developing some knowledge, which is pretty cool. And I see that every time I try to once a week because I do live in a pretty isolated place. Go out like on a Friday night and just go someplace where there are people, sit down at the bar, order a burger, have a drink, and talk to whoever's around me. Just have some, social contact. I go to the gym every day, but most days, but I don't talk to. It's all business when I'm there. I'm just working. I got shit to do, and then I leave. Anyway, it's just when something like this comes up, and I'm always like, how do you not know this stuff? And then yeah, okay, you don't spend all day researching it like I do. I mean, of course they don't know these things that I know. Anyway, it just was really neat to have that conversation. And one of the things that we covered was testosterone in men. And Ray Gardner, his handle is Graybeard Actual. You can get him on Instagram or TikTok. He's all over YouTube as well. Um, he's got a lot of information on this specific subject. And I realized that it was kind of a weak point of mine. I needed to spend some time researching it. Um, so I have been. I've been researching the shit out of it. And I got this video from a friend of mine. She sent it to me this morning that was talking about basically the over civilization of men. And of course, he sent it to me because it's a thing I talk about all the time. But I saw the tie-in immediately. It was this dude doing a video. I don't even know his name. I've never seen him before, but he was talking specifically about, again, over civilization and what the causes of it, or what the I guess the downsides of it are. Um, so let's just go into it. Here we are living in the most advanced society ever devised by humans, which is the way it should be. I mean, it isn't, and the things in the past would be less civilized, right? Or less advanced. We have technology that can allow you to do. I mean, you've got this little thing you hold in your pocket that's got more knowledge in it than the computers that put the United States on the moon in the 60s. It's pretty impressive, and it isn't just the technology piece, it's the access to information. You know what I mean? Like I was just saying, I'm able to do this research and find all this information and suss it out and check and make sure it's credible, and I can do all that sitting right here in a little tiny cabin in the middle of the woods in northern Michigan. And that's not a thing that was going to happen anytime in the last, 25 years ago, you couldn't do this. I'd tell you, 15 years ago, you really couldn't do it as well as you can do it now. So that's a good thing. And access to, it's easy to find food, and it's easy to, there's lots of things that make the life that you live right now very awesome. You've got police protection. You've got all these things that you can outsource to other people that you no longer have to do yourself as a man. Now, you don't really have to protect yourself. I mean, I think you do and you should. But most people, they believe that violence doesn't really exist anymore, and and evil doesn't really exist anymore, so they don't have to worry about it. And oh, we got police for that, we've got the government for that, and all this other stuff. Anyway, I don't want to go into launching into that. I'm just giving you some symptoms about our society and why, describing how over civilized it is. And why is that germane to what we're talking about here? Well, one of the things that Ray mentioned was how low testosterone has become in men. And one of the things I talk about in my book is the grip strength test that Men's Health magazine was quoting in one of their issues. And over a 30-year period, the average grip strength in men had gone down by like 35%. I mean, that's a massive drop. Grip strength by itself, probably not that big of a deal, but what does it really represent? I mean, if you have a strong grip, it probably means you're doing work with your hands, which means you're using your arms and your torso muscles and everything. You probably most of your body's in pretty good shape. I mean, unless you are just one of these guys who sits there and plays with those grippy things, who has great grip strength and they're weak everywhere else? It pretty much doesn't happen. So really, it's just a general measure of overall male, strength, it's grip strength, right? And that's decreased like crazy. And that, like I said, I talk about that in my book. Ray talked about the low testosterone. Um, Both of those things, you're like, well, so what? Travis, you just got done saying how, our society is so civilized, you really don't need that shit anymore. All you got to do is be able to drive your car to the store. You don't even have to go in there and get your groceries. They'll bring them out to you. You know what I mean? And, yeah, you're right. That's true. That is how we live right now. But fixing one problem, oftentimes will cause 15 more. Um, so yeah, you don't have to use your body anymore. Not really, don't need to. There's lots of things you don't have to do anymore. And again, usually that's good. But here are the problems, right? So um, if you don't use it, you lose it. Pretty simple. I know that if I'm not going to the gym regularly, I'm not going to be as strong as I was, and my running times are going to get a lot slower. I'm going to feel like I'm heavier. Um, there are some other things that are pretty fucking tangible. My appetite will go down if I'm not using my body enough, so I won't want to eat as much. Um, you could argue that's good. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to lose weight. Matter of fact, um, I'll probably gain weight because you get in the habit of eating 3 times a day or whatever, and you'll do it whether you're hungry or not. you know. And if you're not doing anything, anyway. So there's one thing. I know my appetite will go down. We talked about that on the live as well. My sex drive will go down. My libido will decrease, and that'll drop off. It takes about 3 days, and that's going to drop like a stone. So I notice it. I'll notice it when I'm on vacation. I have noticed it in the past. I'll be 3 days in, and a bunch of stuff isn't feeling like it normally does, and so I learned that pretty early on that when I'm on vacation, I'm working out. I have to. It makes me feel better in lots of other ways, including mood. My mood is leveled out, much more calm. You know, able to enjoy what's around me. And wouldn't you want that on vacation? Wouldn't you want that all the time, right? So these are the things that I notice go away, and that has to do with testosterone. It absolutely does. When we start looking at numbers, the Urology Times, which is a well-known publication for urologists, they found average testosterone levels decreased this is just between 1999 and 2016, so it's a 17-year span. But think about what happened, what was going on in our world between 99 and 2016. The internet basically came to the forefront. You know what I mean? And your life got a lot easier. Okay. Anyway, it decreased on average in men from 605 to 451. Now, that's a massive drop in 17 years, and that's average. And again, they corrected for age, um, all the comorbidities, of which there are fucking millions right now. The number one of them is obesity. The fatter you are, the lower your testosterone is going to be. A little counterintuitive. You'd think that a higher body weight would mean your body would adjust by bringing more testosterone to bear because you're a bigger dude, but that's just not true. Testosterone, it has to do with your muscle mass, and that's basically it. How much muscle mass do you have? That's what's producing. That's what's predicting It doesn't produce the testosterone, but that's what it predicts it. It predicts it. Yeah, and so that's one thing that's happening that's bad. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but I'm gonna start making a lot of sense here in a minute. You see this a lot, older guys. If you're a UFC fan, or if you're a little older, you probably know people who are on TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy. You can go in there and they'll test you, and if you're below a certain level, your doctor will put you on TRT. And I actually talked to Matt Stevens about that, a guy who's been on the show. I was talking with him, because I'm 46 years old, and maybe it's, something I need to look into. And he told me, hey man, if you can change it with, lifestyle factors, then fucking stay there. Because once you get on TRT, you're on it. Like nobody gets off of it. And it makes sense if your body's getting it and it notices it's there, because you're pretty good at regulating it. Your body is. If it sees it's there, it's not going to make anymore. I mean, then you see that with the steroid using athletes. They get, small nuts and all that stuff. Like, saw that if you ever saw that the thing with Jose Canseco's ex-wife, it was really enlightening about what steroids do to you. Um, yeah, so that's happening, right? Older guys are dropping off, which is normal. Um, you know, being older, like our population is older than ever before due to, again, due to lower risk factors. You have fewer risks in your life. Everything's much more safe, better medical care. You're going to live a lot longer. So overall, our male population is on average older, and that can have an impact on it as well. But like I said in the study from Urology Times, they corrected for that, and they corrected for all the comorbidities. Like really, it's legit gone down like 150 points, which is it's like 25%. That's kind of a big jump in 16 years. Yeah. So let's talk about you know, what does it do? What does testosterone do? And I'm not just saying for men, because it can do this to women too. So testosterone, as you're going through at a certain point in your development in the fetus, it's going to develop penis and testes. That's pretty important. When you get to puberty, it's going to make your voice deepen as those levels come up. Facial hair. Actually, it's been connected to baldness later on. High levels of testosterone when you're young. Um, Obviously predicts muscle size and strength, bone growth, bone density, bone strength. And then, of course, throughout your life, as I was alluding to earlier, not alluding to, was flat out telling you, sex drive, energy, sperm production, mood regulation. These are all things that testosterone does. So, it's coming back to what we started with. Testosterone levels in men are lower than they've ever been. And I mean, I don't think it takes a genius to figure this out. The easier your life is, the lower your testosterone is going to be. But if you don't have testosterone, it's going to make your life harder. You know what I mean? Like it's this weird cycle. So what do you do? Well, we'll get into that in a second. Um, you have to actually, I'll tell you right now, you got to create adversity, you got to create challenge, you got to create difficulty. If you have a life that's super, super easy, you got to make some difficulty. That's what's going to create the adrenal gland. Uh, you know, that's what's going to get it going. That's what's going to get you. Let me back it up. Let's talk about animals. So pigs, right? And again, you're an animal. Why are we talking about animals? Because you're a fucking animal, dude. You're not a plant. You're not a rock. You're an animal, okay? You just happen to have a much more developed cognitive brain. Still a fucking animal. Get used to it, right? So pigs actually can go feral within a few months. So if you have that cute pink, you know, um, Charlotte's Web pig, with soft ears and oh, they are domesticated. Like that's a domesticated pig. But if you let them out in the wild, within a few months, they're going to grow really coarse hair. They're going to get bigger and thicker. They're going to grow tusks, and they're going to become feral. And that happens quickly. Okay, it's actually a really big problem in southern states like Texas. You guys probably know who Tim Kennedy is. He's a guy who um, does lots of cool shit. He was a UFC fighter. He was a military guy. He's got a great social media presence. He's awesome, good shooter. And one of the things that he'll do, local farmers in Texas will hire him and his friends. They'll fly him around in helicopters And from the helicopter, they'll shoot all these herds of, or whatever you call them, flocks of wild pigs, of these boars, because they're nuisance species. They come through and rip up all your plants and all your, you got, not sure what they grow in Texas, but corn and beans is what's up here. Um, Rip them all up, root everything up. They, knock down your gates. They're really a pain in the ass. So farmers will pay to just have them shot. Just get rid of them. Shoot as many as you can. And it isn't the. I guess there is a parallel there too. If there's too much testosterone, you become savage. There's no. It's the opposite of civilization, right? So you've got to do what Jordan Peterson says. You got to keep one foot in the chaos and one foot in comfort, right? You got the comfort of this beautiful society, but you've got to keep one foot into chaos if you want to keep your testosterone high. We'll talk more about that in a second too. Think about dogs and cats. I mean, they can be domesticated or become feral in a single lifetime as well. I mean, dogs not as easily as cats, but cats, you could take a feral kitten and make it and domesticate it, make it social. Like one of my cats he's pretty savage when I got him, but now he's calm, cool, and collected. And I mean, he'll still kill anything that if it's brown, it's down. If it hops, it drops. If it flies, it dies. But he's very domesticated at this point. And I would guess his cat testosterone is much lower than it was when he was wild. Dogs take a little bit longer. They got to be out there, usually a little over a generation. A dog's a few years, spends a few years domesticated. It's going to take him a while to go feral on you. If he's out there and there's no humans around. Um, but it happens, okay? And that's just a natural thing that your body's able to do. If society all fell apart, you'd go back to being savage. Your testosterone levels would go up. They would, because you would have to. You'd have that adrenal stimulation. You'd have things that are scary, essentially, things that are difficult. You'd have adversity in your life, real adversity, and you would adapt. But it would take a whole lot longer if you're already 305 pounds and ordering 10 Crunchwrap Supremes at a time. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot longer for your body to come back, and it might not come back all the way if you needed it. So that's cats. That's cats, dogs, pigs. They can go feral. And why am I talking about animals? Well, shit. That's you, bro. That's you. You're over domesticated. Okay? I mean, you got a beard because you think it looks cool. Your clothing you wear it for style, for what it looks like. You don't really wear clothes for how they perform, what they're going to do. You wear them because of what they look like. I mean, that's luxury, dude. You don't live in a life where you have to kill your food. I'm not saying that you need to. I'm not saying that it's better, but I'm saying if you did, the testosterone problems would fucking go away. You know what I mean? They would. Like they'd be gone quick. You know? They definitely would. Other advantages of testosterone in men. Um, if your testosterone is low, you're going to lose muscle mass. Okay? And what does muscle mass do for you? Well, like I said, it is linked to testosterone. They're in a cycle as well. But that's your only fat burner. That is the only thing in your body that actually burns calories. Your skin doesn't burn calories. Your hair doesn't burn calories. Your bones don't burn calories. Your organs don't, not really. I mean, they burn a little bit, but it's your muscles that do all the calorie burning. It's your muscles that are your metabolism. That's what's going to keep you from getting real fat. The bigger, and that's why most men who are trying to lose weight, they start in the weight room. And I think it's a great place. It really is a great place to start. If you can make your muscles bigger and more powerful, then they are going to burn more calories for you even when you're sleeping. Yeah, even you're just laying there, it takes more calories to stay alive while you're sleeping if you have bigger muscles. So, man, that's a pretty good argument, right? For getting yourself lean and in shape. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm a big cardio guy, you know that, but um, too. But I also, of course, I lift. Holy shit, I was squatting day before yesterday. 46 years old. I'm still, repping out 315, which isn't crazy, but I'm just trying to get good range of motion, use my joints, use my muscles. I'm not trying to be huge anymore. Not huge, huge, but anyway, enough about me. Yeah, so what does it do? Testosterone is going to help you have bigger muscle mass, more muscle mass, which is your fat burner. Lots of sexual things as you would expect. I mean, it's going to decrease your libido if you have low testosterone. I mentioned that earlier. It can also cause impotence, full on impotence, you know, full on, soft wang, not able to get the job done. Small testes, which of course will then be less productive. It's going to cause infertility through lower sperm counts and lots of other things. If you're impotent, if you don't want to have sex, you can't because your dick's not hard. And even if you could, your balls aren't producing enough sperm to do anything. Yeah, that's a big problem. And testosterone is that. Testosterone is going to cause those problems. But actually, low testosterone in men creates increased male breast size. That's right, you'll grow bitch tits if your testosterone is too low. It can give you brittle bones, especially older. You see a lot of guys who they just have like their heads retreat into their torsos as they get older, and it's because their bones are brittle. Their muscles are trying to compensate for not put their bones into any kind of harm or stress. And then a shit ton of mood stuff. Depression is the big one. Mood swings, you know, all that kind of stuff. All of those are caused by low testosterone. These are all things that you could fix if you weren't so over civilized, if you weren't so domesticated, bud. You know, you're domesticated as shit, and it's causing all these side problems. Sure, your life is very comfortable and easy, but I mean, let me back up from all this shit. Sex is awesome. It's really important, and it should give you a lot of joy and satisfaction. And being fit and able and strong and being able to do all these things also really nice. But I would tell you that the most important thing for me every day, and sounds cliche as shit, but it's just having a general positive mood. Like I can't stand it when like if I'm hungover, I'll get a little depression, a little anxiety, and that's hard on me. You know what I mean? I can't stand living in my head when that is going on. So if keeping my testosterone high is going to get my mood right, it's going to make me feel happier. I don't care if it does anything else. Like, that's the most important thing. Now it's nice that um, it can do all those other things too, but the mood thing, that's the biggest one for me. And I mean, if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, as you're getting older, you're going to start seeing that you're going to start being called a grumpy old man. And I'm going to do a whole nother show on this, but that's just a mask, an anger mask. We'll talk about that again later, but in another show. But men tend to do this thing where any negative emotion that you experience, you express it, you feel it as whatever it is, depression, sadness, disappointment, fear. You express it only as anger, because anger is generally the only acceptable male negative, mood, right? Feeling. So then, if you start getting called a grumpy old man, you probably got some bad stuff going on in there, and you're expressing it as anger, and people just think you're grumpy all the time, when really it might be something else. Could it be that your testosterone's low, right? So all this stuff, yeah, we as a Western world are fat and lazy, over civilized. The less you have to do, the less you will do. And here's the thing: laziness, it's a natural male trait. I said what I said. Here's why: genetically, you're programmed to conserve energy for battle. Like you're a warrior, dude. You're a soldier. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So you don't fight unless you have to. You sit back and you conserve energy until it's time. Well, fuck, it hasn't been time since World War II. What do you mean? So you've been conserving energy for a long time. You got to use that energy, man, or else it's going to go away, like I told you. So what do? I mentioned it earlier, but you got to stimulate those adrenal glands. The easiest fucking way to do that is to work out, get in the gym, lift heavy, do hard cardio. Not just, oh, I went for a nice jog today. That helps. That's a good thing. I like to go for a jog as much as the next guy. But I like to do hard cardio where I get on the treadmill and I'm like, I want to see how fast I can run 2 miles. I'm going to run it as hard as I can at my limit and make it a mental thing. I won't let myself quit. I'm trying to get to, I'm in the 15s now, which isn't bad for an older dude. That's 2 miles that are in the sevens. And usually my first mile is a lot slower. My second mile will be in the sixes. Second one will be like 6:53. First one will be in the higher, up in the sevens. And I just average out to 15. But hard ass cardio, or do like a CrossFit style workout, which I like to do once a week, where you go and, um, I do a bunch of lifts and stuff, and then the workout's actually a 3x3, which the last time I did it, which was Tuesday, was I had kettlebell swings, pull-ups, and jump rope. And I had to do 50 total kettlebell swings. I had to do 20 total pull-ups and 300 total rotations on the jump rope. And I had to break it into 3 sets. So it was like, I think I got 10 pull-ups done, and then I did 20 kettlebell swings, pretty heavy kettlebell, 100 times the jump rope. Went right back to pull-ups. I got to 6, and I did 17 kettlebell swings, and then 100, and then I got 4 pull-ups, and then I got 13 kettlebell swings, and then jump rope. And I'm doing them as fast and as hard as I can for time. Now that's hard cardio with strength in there. That's how CrossFit works. That will stimulate your adrenal gland. It will. Here's another one that's helped me over my lifetime. Do things that are a little bit risky. Okay, I'm not telling you to be a fucking asshole, but you know, I drive fast. I do. Not all the time, but if I pass somebody, I expedite that shit. I don't want to be in that oncoming traffic for very long, so I do it quickly, and I got a fast car. I got nabbed last week, or on Sunday, doing 98 in a 55. I know, man. I just was passing. I was passing 2 cars at the same time. Wide open, nobody around, totally safe. Roads were dry, daytime, sober. Like, couldn't have been safer. But like I said, I put the hammer down and go around as fast as I can, tuck back in, go back to the speed I want to go. And this guy got me right after I tucked back in. He was coming over the rise. You know what I mean? He lit me up. I pulled over immediately. And I saw him hit his brakes. I just pulled over. I'm like, he's coming for me. I waited for him with my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm like, hey, man, I earned it. I know it. He's like, yep, I got to do what I got to do. I'm like, I understand. Appreciate the job you do. I'm a big supporter of police. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I'm not saying go out and take risks like that all the time. But, like for me, I'm building a house right now. And, last week I was up on the roof finishing the roof sheeting. It's a 612 pitch. It's cold out. There's icy spots. You got to be careful. You're on edge when you're up there. And then this week I was putting down underlayment over the top of that plywood, which is this rubberized coating stuff that you roll on. You roll it out on top of the roof, and then you attach it with staples or cap nails or whatever you use. And I was up there yesterday with a ladder in the back of my truck so that it was up high enough, and the ladder was laying on the roof, and I'm laying out these sections of underlayment. I'm only up 15 feet or something, but it's snowy, it's risky, you're on edge. That's stimulating your adrenal gland. And that will give you a boost. It's that kind of shit. You got to be in a little bit of danger so your body will produce the chemicals that it needs. I mean, it makes perfect sense. How does your body react to danger? Boom, adrenaline, all these different things start happening. And now your body starts going, well, if this is going to be happening somewhat regularly, we probably better keep our testosterone high. That's going to give us stronger bones, bigger, stronger muscles, a deeper, scarier voice, scarier hair on our face and our head and stuff like that. Right? Yeah, shit, I ride a motorcycle all summer. There isn't a time I get on that thing where I don't think to myself, am I going to die today? Like, I have that respect for it. I'm like, it's just a reminder to myself, hey, you know what? We're going to be real careful today. We're not taking any risks. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to stay away from cars, stay away from people. We're going to watch for animals, not get distracted. We're going to enjoy this ride, but it's dangerous, you know? Um, yeah, fucking do shit like that. Stimulate that adrenal gland. Make your body believe there's a little bit of danger out there still. It's going to get you some testosterone. Go out there and do hard physical things so your body has to react to it by rebuilding itself stronger. This is what's going to keep your sex drive high. It's going to keep your mood regulated. It's going to keep you happier. I say this on the back of the book that there are fewer and fewer real men anymore. This is why. Everybody's like, well, why is testosterone going down? Oh, is it the chemicals in the plastics? Is it this? Is it that? Yeah, it's all those things. They're definitely part of it. But this is the biggest thing. It's fucking environmental. Your job is your life is too easy. You got too little challenge. Go fucking do something hard. Pick something difficult and get good at it. And then go do something else that you don't know how to do. It's very simple. It's kindergarten shit. If you want to get bigger and stronger and better in any way, mentally, physically, emotionally, you've got to go through some challenges. You've got to have adversity. You're made for it. Genetically, you're built for adversity. I say this all the time that, humans are built for adversity. And so the good ones, they create adversity with productive things like workouts or building things or climbing ladders or challenges. The bad ones, the bad people, men and women, they create adversity by tearing things down, by going after our institutions, by canceling people, because it's a stimulating your adrenal gland to be online and be angry at somebody and giving them a bird bomb text or message on their Instagram. That's all it is. You're trying to find adversity because you know that in the end, after that rise, you're going to feel better. And that's really unhealthy to do it that way. Go do it in a way that's going to produce something instead of tearing something down. Does that make sense? And that's why I deleted Facebook this week. Man, I've had Facebook for 20 years or however long it's been around. But I realized that all I get on there are people telling me shit I don't want to hear. Or I'm watching people, put a bunch of fucking frosting on their life that isn't appropriate. Like, yeah, I know your life's not that good. Why are you posting it like that? What are you doing? Like, it's fake. So yeah, I dumped Facebook. It's gone. Like, you'll never see me on there again. You could probably go find my profile, but you won't see me posting on it again. It was attached to my Instagram. That's all I had to do with it till now. But man, I post something on Instagram, it ends up on Facebook, and now I'm getting a random fifth cousin telling me shit about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, you're not my target audience, bud. You know what I mean? Anyway, you are over civilized. I gave you some ways to fix that. And I hope that you do it. I hope that this, in some way, all this information I gave you today helps you to get to your shit together. My name is Travis Neville. This is the Travis Neville Podcast. Please go buy my book. Please subscribe to my podcast on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. It would really give me a big help. Anyway, hope you have a great week. Take care.